Okay, well, I need to try and make this a reasonably quick video. I've tried to record it once and it went on for 20 minutes and it was shit. This is probably going to be just as shit, but hopefully it'll be a little bit shorter than 20 minutes. I've been very busy for a couple of days, so I've not had a chance to think this out. So I hope you grant me a little bit of slack on that, because I'm going to be busy for the next few days as well. But I wanted to talk about being blocked by Ophelia Benson and the lack of empathy that Ophelia Benson must have, because I haven't got that much fucking empathy, but I know the kind of ways of blocking people that winds them up. And if she can't put herself in the shoes of people that have been blocked and understand that, well, maybe that's where some of the problems come from. Because if I blocked people in the way that she blocked me, I know that the level of abuse that I would get on YouTube would go through the roof. There are ways to block people. If you want to block someone on a thread, block them straight away. If you know who they are and you don't like them, block them straight away. Don't allow them to make a couple of comments, and then when people come back with a couple of personal replies that require them to respond and defend themselves, at that point you block them. Don't wait until they make the most moderate comment that they've made all the way through the thread and then choose that to be the comment you block, and then send them a PM saying you blocked them on the grounds of being jeering and trollish, when the comments that you're allowing to go by on that thread at the time from some Space Cadet characters who are trying to criticise Rebecca Watson for being sexual once and then not being sexual on another occasion, as if it gives everybody carte blanche to expect the same behaviour every minute of every day. Ridiculous argument. Ophelia let them go by absolutely unchecked while she was blocking me. But she doesn't think that I should get wound up about that. No, because as she said to me, you post pseudonymously, Noel Plum. What she means by that, of course, it's the old writer's thing. If you're a writer, you post under a pseudonym, you don't post under your own name. I can understand how that applies to writing. Ophelia Benson writes under her own name. I haven't got a clue what she looks like. She could walk past me in the street, but she uses her own name. Whereas I only use one of my own names, but everybody knows what I look like. Everybody I know, my family, friends, most of my work colleagues, all know I have this channel, and they've all had a good laugh at some stage, either at something that I've said or that something that somebody has said to me. So the idea of pseudonymity seems a little bit strained there, to say, well, what should you care when you post pseudonymously? Why should you give a crap if you're blocked and you don't have the right to reply? Of course, when you've spent 4 years with the same identity on YouTube and you've built up a little bit of a reputation for good and for bad, you kind of want to represent that reputation. But then again, I've got the kind of empathy to be able to understand that, and I get the feeling that perhaps Ophelia Benson is lacking that. Let me just give you a little bit of background, but I want to be quick. This all stemmed from Rebecca Watson wrote an article for Slate. You know what the article is going to be about, because it's the same thing that every well-known article that Rebecca Watson and every talk she gives is about. It was about Rebecca Watson and what it's been like to be Rebecca Watson for the past 12 months or so. And that was the comment that I made on Ophelia Benson's blog, and that was the point that I was trying to make when I said, what did she do before she did this kind of thing? Of course I knew, because I checked, because I always check, but I was being a little bit sarcastic at that point. I actually got some really funny replies. The funniest reply was PZ Myers, and I really ought to tell you what he said, because the first thing that he said to me was the following. Maybe if he'd bothered to look, if I'd bothered to look, he'd have found SGU and Skeptic. Rebecca has a long history in the skeptical community. Indeed, I haven't actually bothered with any of his videos. He's never watched my videos. Important point that in a minute, if you want to actually laugh at PZ, which you may want to do at that point. Although the haters keep sending me links to them and telling me that he really taught those feminists a lesson. Okay, so that's what he said. He's criticising me for commenting on Rebecca and saying you're commenting on her when you don't even know what she's done in the past. And then he's saying, well, I've never bothered with Noel Plum. And his next comment to me, his very next comment to me, was the following. It gave me a bit of a laugh. Maybe if he'd actually put in some effort openly arguing against the sexist bullies, he'd be a little more credible. I think you know where I'm going with this one. Unless maybe when you reach the upper echelons of the scientific community, you develop deep telepathic powers. How the fuck does PZ Myers know what effort I've put in openly arguing against the sexist bullies if he's never seen anything that I've actually done? Isn't there a little bit of hypocrisy when you put these two comments together that PZ Myers has just made? Unless he's trying to be sarcastic in the same way that I was. But don't really see how that works given the circumstance there. So there was a fair bit of to and fro went on before we got to this stage where I made the more moderate comment, and at that point that I was blocked. Now, what Ophelia did say, I don't like to read people's private messages, their emails, correspondence to me out, unless they explicitly say that I can. It's just, some people say, well, unless they've said, don't read it out, there's nothing wrong with it, but I don't like to do that. It's a private correspondence, I like to keep it private. So I'm not going to do that, but I just want to read one line which says, I think you should just shrug and leave me the hell alone. I won't read out the rant, the terrible rant that follows that, which was entirely over the top. What I will do is this. I would have done that. If you'd blocked me right from the word go, Ophelia, I'd have been a bit pissed off. The fact that you blocked me halfway through when I needed something to respond to, when I needed to respond to something, sorry, I was a bit more pissed off. But I could have, I'm big enough to have left it there, to be quite honest. But then you had to make this comment in another blog, and I'll leave it at the bottom of the screen so that you can have a look. And that's really what fucking wound me up at that point, because at that point you'd taken to blocking me. So at that point you were making another comment about me when you knew that I had absolutely no right to reply apart from through this medium, which is to make a video. And yet you criticise me in the private messages for wanting to go as far as to make a video, as if it means I'm launching some kind of hate campaign against you, or as if I'm pissing on you or something along those kind of lines, which is absolutely ridiculous. The point of making this video, and the reason that even a couple of days that have gone by that I wanted to make this video, is that I felt really wound up about this. I'm just telling you my experience, which is, as it stands, I felt really wound up about the treatment that I had, and I felt potentially trollish. And if most people who know me on YouTube will know that I'm not a potentially trollish person. I get a bit sarcastic, but I don't tell people I want you to go and die. I certainly don't say I'm going to go, pardon me, and attack anybody, or, you know, I'm going to come around your house and put your windows through, I'm going to rape you, I'm going to kill you, anything like that. But I felt really wound up about it. But I've got an avenue for release, and this is my avenue for release. Now, I know enough about being on the internet and having people comment on what I do to know that you can seriously wind and piss people off if you want to by the way that you treat them. Nobody has a right to comment on my videos. I can block whoever I want, the same as you can, Ophelia, on your blog, as you pointed out to me. But that's not the point. If you're honest and truthful when you say that you want the shit to stop, that you want to stop people to stop calling you a fucking cunt and all this kind of stuff, if you really mean that, then maybe you just need to get a little bit more empathetic as to how people feel when you take their voice away. Because I know you're the kind of person that doesn't like it when people try and take your voice away. Okay, that's certainly, well, is that all I want to say? It's all I have time to say, and I haven't got time to set this out any better than I have. Thank you for watching this video, and to the commenter who said on that blog that I never smile, I'll end the video with a nice big smile. Okay, thanks for watching, and bye for now.